Hello guys, welcome back to another Space Engineers video. So, like we finished off last time, we finished on this dropship, so cargo transport, whatever you want to call it. Let's try and capture it. If we want to, we can use it for a little bit, but I'm most likely thinking of grinding it down and then using all its components to be able to put it towards a ship that I actually designed, instead of something that I just pick up and then take it to space. But let's try and capture this ship first. So, first things first, I did find the remote control after flying around the ship for a little bit. It's sneakily hidden, right next to the cargo container. There you go, I've now captured it, it now belongs to me. Close that. As you can see, I did grind through the blast door, and now I've got the cockpit, and now I have ownership of the ship. Now let's take it to base, and let's drain it of its hydrogen. What I might do is turn all its thrusters off just to save hydrogen usage. Means I get to keep more for later. It is quite a nice ship, quite a good design. I would have probably made it a bit longer instead of being so stumpy, but that's just my preference. But other than that, it's actually quite a good design. It's got landing gears as well. Too bad you do have to have a sort of landing pad for it to be able to get inside. As you can see, it does only have side entrances or the rear of it, so that's something that I'm most likely going to try and put into my design, some underside access. But because I claimed this ship, even if I had turrets, it wouldn't be shot since I've actually claimed this grid. And I don't have to worry all that much about my speed as I'm going downwards, because I do have 4 large Atmo thrusters and parachutes. So let's turn those off, because those are going to be really annoying. Ugh. I have to wait till it's done its thing and disappeared. There we go, now I can fly. But I did have a comment in my last video about someone asking me to make a small grid ship themed by Star Trek as a Klingon vessel. That's something that I'm most likely going to be doing in creative, for the simple reason I'm not the best at designing small grid ships. I feel that I'm a lot better at designing large grid ships. So I'll see how I go with it, but I'm definitely going to give it a shot. But to get the angles I want, I'll most likely have to use hinges and rotors and such. And now that we're close enough, let's lock. There you go. Landed. Now I need to build some conveyors to be able to siphon all its hydrogen. Sweet, sweet hydrogen. But that's going to happen after these are built, because the base is still actually building everything. And we do have a few batteries built, as the assembler is actually working on power cells at the moment, so my battery storage will be increased. But what's annoying is that all the building pair hasn't built these refineries yet. But oh well. All comes at an end as well. I've had a bit more of a think about how I want to design this ship. So I'm thinking of having a sort of slim design where at the end it sort of curves out into a 3-engine nacelle sort of thing. But keeping the bridge at the front so that I've got some viewing areas. But I'll most likely put in some crew quarters just for something nice to have. But that will all have to come in time. But now that we have this ship, let's start emptying it. So if we go here and tell this connector to throw out everything, we can find a seat. No, it's starboard. I always get my directions mixed up. As you can see, we actually have quite a few things in this ship. So what we can start to do is to slowly empty it. So as we can see, we got silver, we got magnesium to build our weapons and ammunition, and a bit of ice, so we can start filling up everything else as well. But because we've got large cargo containers, we don't have to worry all that much. Oh, is it not piped to the system? Ah, sneaky. I've got an easy fix to that. Give me a connector. I'll rip this one out. Don't want to grind this down. But let's just check if they're connected. Yes, they are. So now let's place our connector so we can start emptying these bad boys. Let's place this back down again and get the carbon fiber armor. Now that we've done that, let's set this connector to throw it out and find a little port to be able to connect to it. There we go. Let's start filling it up. And the reason I'm doing it this way, I would have probably stuck out the front, which would have made it a lot easier, but it's much safer, I find, just doing it just that little bit slower, where the build and repair has time to grab it all, so it doesn't despawn. Most likely put the ice in one and then do that in a bit, because that's probably going to be the slowest thing to dispense. This thing comes with reactors too. Let's turn those off just to save uranium. So that's everything. Then what's left is just the ice, so I'll just let that sit for a little bit and start dispensing everything. Let's see how the assembler's doing. Still working on those power cells. Did have a lot of batteries, so I'll most likely put it at the back of the queue now, since I do have a few batteries, but what I need is everything up and operational. So the refinery needs computers, metal grids, motors, and construction components. So the computers are being done now. Metal grids. That's the next one. Go. Some metal grids, don't know exactly. 20. I had enough. What was the next bit? Motors, and then construction components. construct some motors. Don't have any construction components either, so that will be next in the queue. So it's a few more motors since everything will need those and construction components. Slowly getting there, slowly but surely. Small steel tubes too. What's it working on? Probably the conveyors. I want you to work on the refineries, not the conveyors. How are the assemblers looking? They don't have anything in them just yet. That's finished. Now put some more ice in there. Go. As you can see, this is the reason why I wanted to do this last, because it just goes everywhere. Some motors will hopefully be produced. Grab those into my inventory and put some construction components first. Let those produce now. Just short. There we go, both refineries up and operational. Now that those are done, I can get the modules. So if you want them to be more efficient, place some modules on them, because that will be sort of the best way to do it. But what I need is some steel plates, and because I saw them in there, I'll grab them from here. I'm not going to be worried about my power usage. I'm going to be worrying about how much I get from everything. So I'm going to go maximum yield on all of those. Let's put these in there. Let's change this out. And if anyone's noticed, I have left the carbon fiber on. I did notice that. It's a really easy fix if I want to try and actually detail my base. It's a pretty easy fix. There it is. Final piece placed, and I'm guessing this refinery is working. No. It's not piped. Ah, yes. Because it's not fully done yet. Let's fix that. There we go, now the refinery should be picking up materials. Yes it is, there we go. Becoming more efficient, so even with the bigger refinery we are going to get a bit more out of those resources than with the basic refinery. But that's still going to be too small for what I need. Now the assemblers need to be done. And that's going to take a bit. So at the moment, the build and repair is most likely working on some other materials that require motors. Oh, there we go, it's focusing on the yield modules over on this side. And it's also focusing on conveyors, which I still have the components for, so let's put those back. Any more components? Some construction components. Because we don't have any steel plates left, I can't keep working on the base. Or my ship for that matter. But what I can do is grab the connector from the front. And put it back where I found it. That's something I will have to do now, is figure out how to connect these large cargo containers.
Inventory full.
Huh. Should be connected. Ah, I think I know what's going on. Trading, it must be that. Trading mode must be on. Yep, trading mode. That's what was the problem. Didn't have to do everything in the first place. So let's weld this ship back up and go take it out to gather some resources. While everything gets produced. There we go, ship is now empty, turn it on, and then I'm ready for flight. Minutes of flight time just on batteries. Oh no. I'm generally a lot used to that because I don't generally fly these big ships. That's a good thing I noticed it when I did, and it did only hit with the drills. So, what just happened? Because I built a new connector, they have on by default used for parking, so as soon as I pressed P, it straight away disconnected it from the grid. So generally what people will do is avoid pressing P and just put stuff in their hotbar, but because I didn't have any, I just straight away pressed P thinking that it would be fine. But as you can see, at least you can still recover stuff. Even if that happened, I only went upwards, I didn't drop, so it didn't destroy the connector, which was very fortunate, because it would be very frustrating to try and repair it. With reverse thrusters does this have? 2. Nice. 6. Nice lights too. Oh. Side thrust. Only one small. No. Only 2 forwards. Wonder why it was made that way. Let's go grab a bit of iron, nickel. and grab some gold and possibly some more silicon, because resources at some point will be like, you're missing something. So might as well grab everything since we have 3 large cargo containers that we can fill up and try and do what we can. We can even fill it with ice. This thing can start filling its hydrogen and then more hydrogen to put towards everything else. If you wanted to, you could even put some hydrogen engines on the base, and when we build the batteries on the ship, they'll be able to recharge because the hydrogen engines are putting all the power into them, plus recharging the base. But that will have to happen soon, not today. Let's lock us down, and let's go back up to the mining ship. Full-size assembler. I could be using this thing. I could put the pieces of this towards the other base. Yes. There you go. Got a plan. But that's going to happen after I've used this ship to gather resources, because if I take that, its components will be going... I can't go through here anymore. Oh, I didn't park that very well, did I? Did it again. And just like at the base, just do it the exact same way. Just empty it, just like that. And as you can see, we're probably not even fill at 1. But let's see how we do just collecting 1 load of resources. As you can see, I haven't actually had to press forwards to actually keep going, because I've only got 3 thrusters for my reverse thrust. It's not actually strong enough if I put it on a certain angle to hold the entire ship. So from there it makes it much easier, and you can make it much more autonomous when you're in control of the mining. So something to keep in mind if you want to make it a little bit easier, but it has its pros and it has its cons. More ice and stone. Now to mine tooth and nickel. That's above me. That's annoying. Let's do this. There we go. Now I can just mine for resources. Well, I'm out of the mine hole. Now we got a load of that. Let's go back. Oh. Wonder if there was any damage there. No, thrusters seem okay. There we go. Now I'm curious, does this ship have any hidden cargo? Or is it just detailed? Check the toilet. Maybe this was just one of those ships where it just gives you cargo. I don't know. Always check your ships that you manage to capture, because sometimes even they have small little things like credits, tools, and all that can help you quite a bit. So always be aware of that. Whoop. Now let's go to our gold deposit. Light indicator. Always handy, but I would probably have put it to the side or something instead of being up there. Because that way you have to look up and then you... it's alright flying like this. You just have to adjust it a little bit so you're comfortable. Yes, that is the altitude. There's our gold. down and go back up. That's mine. Down about here. I really need to put some lights on this miner. Make it much easier to see what I'm working with. Stone, let's go that close. Note with gold they will generally come in a thin layer, so as you can see it's only this bit, and that's what you'll have to mine. Unless you get a boulder, then it's much easier, but as you can see if I put this on automatic, I'm not getting all that much gold, I'm mostly getting stone. That's why you will always want to do a bit of mining, get your yield modules on as soon as possible. Even getting one done as you are refining means that you'll get more for the next one and more for the next one. That's why I always go yield for my refineries. It means that I don't have to worry all that much. I got all the resources I can get. Because we've already got the superconductors at base, we should be fine with this load. .34, but there's probably more in the cargo system, so we'll find out once we get back to base. But now we need silicon and magnesium. We can still see the base slowly working its way through. Whoa. Oh no, it's not liking that. It's clanging out. Okay, it's a bit happier now. If your grid is ever doing that and it seems like a landing gear is actually gone into the voxels, turn on creative mode and just paste it back in, because it's not going to end well if you try and move it. Or sometimes you can get lucky. I will admit that sometimes you can definitely get lucky. but I would not trust it for the life of me, because more times than none it will just destroy your work and you'll just have to reload the world anyways, and then it will most likely still be in the ground, and then you'll have to try and do something to get it out then. Disconnecting it from the grid could be an option, but then you have to replace it and everything else, so I would just copy paste, put it in the exact same position where you had it. Because Space Engineers is not perfect, but I can't actually wait for the Warfare 2 to come out. New weapons. We won't actually have, they will most likely not have to use scripts to make rotor weapons anymore. Imagine that, not having to use a script. It's going to make life so much easier. Especially when you want to make your own weapons instead of just using standard vanilla Gatling and missile turrets, because their hitboxes are stupid. If I tried to fly into one of them now, it would just be stupid and destroy my entire ship, and you pretty much would have done nothing to the turret, but it would just destroy your grid even if you accidentally just tap it. But yeah, be aware of hitboxes. They did fix block hitboxes so you can do quite a few more things than you used to be able to do when I first started. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, I'm level now. Just draw that out for my safety's sake. But yeah, be aware of hitboxes and when you're flying around turrets, because it's not fun. I have friends that have played and have destroyed something that they just created even when it was their first ship. They went smack and it was gone. So let's have a look through the entire grid. Let's see exactly what we've gotten. So 58,000 iron, 31,000 ice, 42,000 cobalt, 89,000 stones, 46,000 nickel, 13,000 gold, 65,000 silicon, and 51,000 magnesium. Not bad amount, especially when you're just trying to get things started. But eventually you'll be becoming more efficient using large grid drills, because they'll actually collect more as well. So once you get up to space, generally build a large grid miner. It does a lot to surface mining. Put like one large cargo container and you'll get so much resources. Just finding where the ore is and then just drilling and plunging straight through the asteroid. One, it's satisfying, and two, you get a lot out of it. Even if it's just stone, you still get resources out of it, and the yield modules will mean that you get more out of stone. So if you simply just want to make a stone rig, just mine stone and put refineries on it and put wind turbines so it's just on passive power, do that, because you'll just have resources sitting there. Like, you can see that my wind turbines are almost done, I'm missing 2, and my solar panels are being done. So all of that's going to help with power. And the reason I'm being very careful around this grid, because it is scaffolding and I do have thrust damage on. If I put, say, thrust or one of the atmos, it will just burn through it. But now what we can do, let's get these connectors to start dispensing my collection of ore. Nope, wrong tab. Connector, port, and starboard. This grid. Show everything. Get the connectors. That's why I was going in there. Throw out. I wonder what it looks like outside. There we go, that's all the resources. Oh my god, it looks like a mess. It's all just slowly being collected. Easy way to transfer inventory. Gives the assembler time to produce stuff. Now let's go grab that assembler. Ah, we also have to put our modules on our assemblers. That's something else we have to do. So you can see that's connecting the vent and reactors. Plus these are 2H2 generators. Most likely not connecting everything, but quite a bit of the ship. How many steel plates do I have? I haven't got any, so let's go grind up the floor. With this tier 3 grinder you do have to be very careful, especially if you're using it on stuff that you just want to lightly tap onto, because it will just go through it. For assemblers, maximum speed is what I will tell you. If you want something done quickly, just get it to work cooperatively and it will just go through it like no one's business. There you go. All the modules are now on. And they just need to be built. I'm still doing the solar. Do we have a conveyor going across there? Yes, we do. If we get this to cooperate, then we'll be much quicker at what we're building. There we go. We can access this from here, so let's put it in cooperative mode. There we go. Starts grabbing materials. And it starts producing. There we go. much quicker at building now that we have two assemblers working. What I will have to do is stuck a build and repair somewhere once I have the materials for it. Okay, I'll just leave the one here. Have the one. Let's grab all those solar cells. Start attaching them to the solar tower. These construction components, the girders. Let's see where they are on the queue. Oh no, are we out of iron? No, we have iron here. Base. There is iron. Ah, there's the problem. It's filled up. Doesn't have any space to put towards anything else. That's another reason why I actually put the refineries connected to the cargo separate to the actual assemblers, so I don't have to worry about that happening nearly as much, because it's bloody annoying when it does. Because you just don't know what's happening. You have to go through a checklist to find out what's happening. Steel plates being worked on. Let's grab all the construction components and chuck them forwards. No girders have been put to produce. Let's fix that. Filled up again, didn't it? There you go. Slowly but surely, everything comes together. The solar tower is now done, so we should be getting a bit more power during daytime. The industrial assembler is working its way through everything. As everything gets queued, it then pulls it in. And I don't think I need that many girders, so let's just get rid of that and let it queue up what it needs. It hasn't worked on these yet. It's working on the modules. This one needs computers, and everything. So if I can put the computers first. Make a few. And hopefully That will build very quickly. Now those have been produced. The assembler should be going through everything like mad. Yep, going through pretty quick. But once those two are in cooperative mode, if I just set this one assembler to collect everything, it might not do much, but these two will do something. This rotor, get its velocity, put it to 1. Oh, jeez. That was scary. It's so big, it just doesn't... Oh, jeez. There you go, it's a bit smoother now. If you're wondering why I just turned it, it's so that I have more space to build. If I want to, I can always just turn it more this way, so that I come more into this section. I will have to move that ship if I need to, but I then have more access to space to continue building. Regent, cargo, or MDC, MDC. Yeah, having fun time with everyone around me. I just like how the speed modules are being done before the yield modules. Steel plates, construction components, small steel tubes. Let's swap those around. Hopefully these yield modules will start getting worked on, but they most likely won't, because these are being worked on. No. Something else is being welded. Yeah, the speed modules are still being done, even though it won't do the assemblers. The intelligence is unfounded. But that was a sort of smaller video. You can see how everything does seem a bit slow as you're going through, because this was just one playthrough and I haven't actually made any cuts to this video. So this is what a normal Space Engineers sort of session, if you're just spending an hour a day, or if you want to keep going you can, but this is sort of what it's like. Mining, waiting for materials, welding. Sometimes you'll do this by hand and get exactly what you need, but I've got the build and repair where it will just go and do all the main components first and then build the armor. But because I've built up so many things, it's working through as quick as it can. So play the way you want to play. Because I play by myself most of the time, I like to put the build and repair. It's like another person being here to help you out. But the option is always up to you, but I would generally say play with some friends. Even if you have the build and repair mod on with them, it makes it much more enjoyable, because then you can just focus on your builds, focus on what you guys want to do. So, as always, if you have any comments, write it down in the description below, or comment section below. And hope to see you guys in the next one. See you later, everybody.